We've all heard stories about the challenges that staff and students face at Title I schools. Well, both Mike Kennedy and Michael Amidon have worked with Title I schools and know those challenges firsthand. I spoke with them about their sports programs and the gaps that exist in these schools. Take a look. Hey guys, thanks for being with us today. You know, the first thing I want to ask you guys, let's talk about the Title I schools. And when it comes to the sports programs, you guys are talking about that big gap. Describe what it's like in those schools right now.
You know, for a lot of these schools, it's really tough. You know, some of it comes down to geography. Some of it comes down to, you know, how old is the school, their parent involvement, and things like that. But some of these schools that we've gone to, they don't have enough money to have matching uniforms. One of the schools we work with, they had football, but they didn't have any footballs.
When you saw this, and you said you've worked at Title I schools, I mean, that motivated you guys.
We recognized when our kids were participating at these schools that there are discrepancies where you go against other schools that are not Title I that have matching uniforms or other opportunities and resources there for those kids. And it really just comes down to what's the experience that you have at a Title I school and how can you make it equal and make those kids feel like they're at an opportunity, they're at the same opportunities and advantages that other schools are that they're competing against. And
it sounds like when you guys say resources, it's not just the equipment, it's probably the opportunities, right? Like the programs within the schools. Talk a little bit about that.
At a lot of these schools, you recognize that kids don't come from the same resources and they don't have the personal equipment, so they try out for soccer and you're playing against a kid who is paid to play and they've got a jersey and a bag and the cleats and shin guards and a ball, and they're coming out for the sport for the first time and they may not even have cleats. But they want to participate in a middle school sport, and that's fantastic, and we just want them to feel like they're just as equal to be there as anyone else.
Yeah.
So these two have had a history, right? They have worked with Title I schools before. They work at Prolific Park as well, but this is something they decided to do on their own. They see these kids. The line that he said that always stuck out with me, he said they have kids that want to play football and a football team and no footballs.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
But I'm glad that they're doing this to try to get some of those resources into the schools, because I know I was involved in a lot of sports as a child and it really helped me with like discipline and just interacting with other kids and structure. Yeah. And you make friends. I think that sports really do add a lot to your life.
Yeah, I mean, these Title I kids, I grew up and went to a Title I school because my mom was a teacher at one, and these kids, you know, they have free or reduced lunch. So you can imagine their home life might not be the best. So to have an outlet for like to go to sports and everything is so important for those kids to have, and to think that they can't even get that, you know?
Coaches are role models sometimes, right? I mean, I think that they connect with these kids. Now, in the next half hour, the reason I wanted to introduce you to them is because they've started their own organization called Beyond Sports, and they're trying to bridge this gap and get rid of this gap with sports equipment and sports programs at Title I schools. So we'll talk about that coming up.
Love it. Look forward to it. We'll be right back.